And now, back to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are here to talk about episode 433B, Chain Reaction.
Oh boy, are we!
It's split episode summer, everyone's favorite season of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to keep it rolling here with another split episode.
Love that.
The B-side to The Treasure Room, Chain Reaction, was also originally airing on December 4th of 1999. It's written by Marshall Younger. It's directed by Phil Waller, as all good episodes are. And it inexplicably has a 93% on the wiki.
That gives me... I can't wait till we get to the discussion questions at the end of this episode.
Okay. Well, we have got that to look forward to, folks. That's what we call a tease.
A tease. I was gonna say, is it hotter just because there's less episode?
Oh.
Is this a modesty situation? We having a hot split summer?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Mixing so many ideas here.
Nope. I love it. Happy hot split episode summer, folks.
It's a crop top.
I do like the idea that regular episodes are a one piece.
Yes,
but split episodes
are two
a
piece.
bikini.
Yes, 100%. And all that in the middle is just that weird transition music.
Oh man,
the midriff.
All right, I think that's it, guys. I think that's the episode. We just peaked both audioly and textually. That was wow.
I have noticed
that's beautiful, Andrew.
Thank you. My dad jokes, I think, are getting better.
I don't even know if that was a dad joke. That was glorious.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow.
Let's talk about the episode. Oh, well, I mean, I guess we have cast to cover first, right?
We haven't really been doing cast for these.
Oh,
so
yeah,
if
fair.
there's someone you want to shout out in particular, but otherwise we'll just kind of take it as we come.
Yeah, that works for me.
So we start out with Mandy talking to someone about a 2-mile high water slide. That someone is her brother David.
Yes.
But they do the thing that is, I think, a flaw in not setting up who a character is right off the bat.
Yeah. No, it's very hard to tell. The only way that I could write down David in my notes is because I looked at the wiki.
Right, yeah, I just was like, who is this? And then eventually we hit, okay, it's David. But the thing that's extra weird about it is so David's talking about how this is a 2-mile high water slide, and Mandy's talking about how that's not possible, how the elevator would have to have its own oxygen supply and all this stuff. And Mandy is David's younger sibling.
Yes.
Decently younger.
By a considerable
he's
amount.
in high school, she's in middle school at the time of their parents' almost divorce.
I don't know. Well, okay.
Listen to our coverage of that. But it is, so it's just
it's a weird
I
dynamic.
appreciate the comedy of this scene of David, just going off about this, and Mandy being very rational. It does feel within their characters. It's just funny because I'm one of you is a child. I mean, you are both children, but one of you is way more a child, and they're the one who's actually, you need oxygen.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of I want to say of era late 90s sitcom thing with the smarter
sure. She's
smart
very
aleck younger.
She's very precocious.
Yeah. Did Urkel have an old... No, Urkel was a neighbor. He didn't...
I've seen no Urkel, so
That's
I
fair.
cannot speak to this.
That's a Family Ties thing.
I believe he did do that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it is very hard to tell that it is David in this scene. And they're talking about just colossal water slides, the logistics of it. Are you a water slide guy?
I don't do heights or high speeds. Water slide. Here's my take. I slightly prefer a water. I prefer a water slide to a roller coaster.
Okay, that's fair.
I have more control in the water slide.
Fair.
I feel.
Fair.
I would put tubing as more enjoyable than water slide.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
hands down.
in that same thing where I'm like, I don't super love this. Sack race is my go-to, but that's because it's never that high.
That's fair.
Do love me a sack slide. But yeah. So yeah, not a huge fan. I really don't like Flume.
Flume?
Which is like the water coaster
kind
of setup where it's like you're on
big splash thing.
Yeah. Where like you're in like a log and you still do like the climb up and then the drop down. I'm like, I hate the climb up. It's the worst part of a coaster.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's all it is the climb, and then you go down and you get wet and you're like, congratulations. Right.
So yeah, not, but like a, tube go down a slide, sure. Now, would I do a 2-mile water slide? No, not a chance. From 10,000 feet up, no.
Okay, no.
You could not pay me enough. I would not do.
I would do a 2-mile water slide if it
I would
was
not
like
do
2
from
miles
1,000 foot up. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
like no, thank you. I don't even think I'd do 100 foot up.
No, I would. No, I would. Well,
That's the line. We found the order of magnitude that Andrew is willing to do.
Yes, it's 100 feet up for the water slide. My thing with water slides is I never go as fast as I think I'm going to, or I never go as fast as I want to go.
No, slower is better.
Well,
I have skinned heels like trying to slow myself down on those things.
That's fair.
Which
I
don't do.
respect that. No, please don't do that. That hurts.
Yeah.
But I really like short, super fast water slides that are essentially just playground slides with like basically Crisco and an endless hose like water supply at the top.
All right.
At the pool I went to growing up, they had one that was like that, and basically, it was just a game of how hard can I throw myself down this slide, because it's like 10 feet if that.
Yeah. I will put a link in the description to Action Park. A really good podcast episode that dives into Action Park specifically, which is a water park in Ohio that famously many people died on the water slide. And that's just what I was thinking about here.
Oh, no, I was thinking about my least favorite experience, which is going down any sort of slide and my skin sticking to the slide. Just even saying that, my back is hurting. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Okay.
Sack slides are the best slide because there's no chance of that happening.
I feel like, wow. In the water slides that you're envisioning, how much of... So you're going down not in a tube, but just on the slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been down a water slide in a tube.
That's what I was picturing here, but the more I talk about that, the more I think that is not really a thing.
I think some
I mean,
of them are.
I've seen it for sure, but that's not like the default water slide.
No. The default water slide, at least that I've been on, which are somewhat, fairly mediocre ones that they have at pools and stuff, are just, they're just playground slides with some water in them, and if you bump your shoulder on the side, it is bad feelings.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. All right. Thumbs down. Whit walks into the scene and says, "Are you guys talking about the water slide? I heard it's going to be 10,000 feet tall." Which I guess it's not. It does. I can't tell if he's supposed to have overheard them or if he just knows that this is the rumor all the kids are bringing up. It does feel slightly out of Whit's character to spread misinformation this way.
Totally. Especially or to stir up false hope. It hasn't even gone through. He doesn't even know, there are no plans yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So right, but he's like, yeah, I know the guy who's going to develop it. He's got that. He owns that like apartment complex across town.
And then
If you want to talk to him about the height, I'll hook you guys up. And I'm like, what a bizarre series of events we have going on here.
Thank you, Whit, for connecting these children to local real estate developers.
Yeah. Yeah, and then David's walking by. We leave this scene. David's walking by Bernard, who's trying to start his mower.
Yep.
David's like, hey, I'll mow your grass. I'm looking for money. And Bernard's like, nope, I'm going to mow my grass, but I'm out of town for the next couple weeks with my in-laws. You can mow it twice during that period. And he's like, oh, you're going on vacation?
Yeah, this joke is great.
I'm going to my in-laws.
Didn't you hear me?
I'm glad you think this joke is great.
I don't like in-law jokes. I have good relationships with all my in-laws.
So tired of in-law jokes. Everything Bernard says is funny because Dave Madden's a good deliverer of lines. But, ugh.
Yeah.
Every joke about people's in-laws is just the worst. It's just lowest common denominator humor. It's the one step removed from the 50s joke of like, I hate my wife.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, it's one step above that. It's like, the old ball and chain. It's the old ball and chain's ball and chain, and it's now my ball and chain.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. No, it's not great.
Yeah. But yeah, then Bernard agrees to pay him $20 for mowing the yard twice, which
feels like a great deal, especially,
I know, especially
of era.
In 99, I feel like, wow, well done. Andrew, did you have an allowance growing up?
Yes.
What was your allowance?
$15, I think, for the entire month.
Oh, okay, 15 for a month.
Yeah.
Sure, which is not... So I got 3 a week.
Okay.
Which is...
Yeah, $12 a month.
Yeah, which is a very similar amount.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like... I think older siblings got 20, but I also stopped getting an allowance as soon as I got a job, so...
Right. Yeah. Well, and so I got 3 a week, or I could get a pack of trading cards.
Is that a better deal?
It's the same amount of money.
Okay.
But I always took the trading cards, man.
That's fair. Wait, what? You're a trading cards kid?
Dude, I have, in a closet at my parents' house, binders upon binders of baseball and football trading cards.
I knew
Depending
you liked
on
the football,
what was in season, those were the trading cards that we got. My dad would buy big boxes that had like a bunch of packs in them, and then you get a pack every week for allowance, or you could get, I think it was $3. It might have been $2, but regardless, that was your other option.
No, I dig that. Yeah, no, it was that seems nice. No, my parents would regularly forget to give me my allowance. I'd be like,
hold them accountable.
It's true. I should have been.
All this to say, $20 for mowing Bernard's lawn twice. It sounds great.
Depends on how big the lawn is, I guess.
Sure. But I'm just like, yeah, no, that's a great deal right there.
And David's like, sure, I'll do it. And it'll be great.
Yep.
And then
Bernard's like, you gotta mow it twice because it'll get really long if you only mow it once. Cut to Mandy serving as David's conscience.
Yep.
He is watching TV. It is like
2 days before
12
Bernard
days in, right? And Mandy's like, have you mowed his yard at all? And you're just in here like watching TV? Oh my word, David, go mow his yard. You're such a bad kid. And I'm like, once again, it's just like, this episode feels like it is crammed into the 10 minutes.
Yes. And we will get into it because I figured the majority of this episode was about the lawn. And then as soon as that gets resolved, everything else happens and it becomes so much more than that.
Sure.
And obviously chain reaction, we'll get into the point of all that. But yeah, and so his logic is he won't do it and he'll mow it twice the day before he gets back.
Sure. Or yeah. Also, yeah, speaking as someone who just grew up with a large yard for a decent point in my childhood, very large yard, like 3 acres worth of a yard. Oh boy, was delaying on mowing at all not an option, because too big a yard to bag, but if you blew and it piled, then you had to rake it up.
Yeah.
So we did not push off mowing the yard. That was not on the table.
No, yeah, you had to stay on top of it to make sure. Yeah. I didn't have a particularly large yard, but I don't know. I like mowing. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm blessed with a roommate who's happy to mow the yard. So I haven't had to do it in a long time.
Nice.
But it is, it's not a task I particularly dislike.
No, I don't mind it at all.
It's just some time with that was I listened to a lot of Odyssey while mowing the yard.
Exactly.
And then I went into audiobooks and then podcasts. Now I make a podcast, and maybe
Exactly.
you're mowing the yard right now, listener.
I really hope so. I genuinely don't care that much about user engagement, but now, yes, please, if you are mowing, it is of the utmost importance you let us know.
Oh man. So then we jump from, there's a building that is having an electrical emergency, and they have called Bernard.
What?
I don't know. Janitor does not equal electrician.
Right.
Oh, so it's so the
And then I was like, is it the
message
Timothy
he
Center?
leaves?
And I'm like, no, that's Tom.
The message he leaves is that they have tried everything. They can't get anything to work. Nobody knows what's going on. The last time this happened, Bernard was able to fix it. So when you get this, come over. Very weird.
Very, very weird. And so we get this as an information or as a message on an answering machine that goes. And initially, because I knew that Bernard got robbed, I thought that these were the robbers calling to make sure he wasn't home. Which, apparently not the case.
Nope. So then at this point, we then jump to the robbers. One is very clearly Jerry Hauser, basically just playing jellyfish.
Exactly, jellyfish.
My headcanon is this is jellyfish because it is the unnamed burglar, and then there is a.
Oh no, I have a jellyfish note. Well, why is jellyfish back in Odyssey robbing Bernard?
Right. Yep. That's pretty comfortably jellyfish. Anyways, he so jellyfish is breaking in with a guy named Leonard, who is a dope. We've got our angry small and dumb big combo for burglars. Yep.
And we have a fun twist where the dumb big is grammatically correct.
Right. A wild choice.
Yeah.
But they're driving around the neighborhood, cruising, and clearly someone watched Home Alone, because it's the whole, like, we got to rob someone who's out of town.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, well, Bernard's not home. Look at all that high grass. And then he got a book called 1001 Misuses of Common English Phrases, so that he can correct jellyfish at every moment. He's an idiot, but he cares about word choice, which is, relatable to me.
He's a mama's boy who cares about word choice, which I love.
It's true.
Love that for him.
It's true. Then we jump to Bernard coming back.
Yeah, like we said, jam-packed just from scene to scene as far as what's going on. So David comes. Does Bernard show up at David's house, or does David go to Bernard's house? I couldn't tell.
I don't think that it
mattered. Yeah.
They meet up.
Yeah, they meet up, and David gets paid for mowing, the $20. Bernard's like, oh yeah, the yard looked great when I got back. Like, thank you for doing that. And then this is when David finds out that Bernard got robbed and that they took everything, including the answering machine.
Right. To which he says, I sure hope there weren't any janitorial emergencies while I was gone.
There weren't. There were electrician ones, though.
But yeah. So it's so David never doesn't find out at this point that he is like that David never finds out that he was responsible for this because Bernard doesn't know why he was robbed.
Exactly.
And he just gets the money, goes on his way.
Yeah.
I don't think he should get the money because he didn't do what he agreed to do. I also don't think he is responsible for Bernard being robbed.
No, neither.
Nor is he responsible for what will later happen.
Exactly.
This episode is crazy. So then, right, everyone's electricity is going crazy.
Yeah, I presumed it was the Timothy Center because I was like, where is this happening?
No,
That this is some...
It's the condo.
Yeah.
That is owned by the guy who's doing the water park.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
Actually, no, I think that is correct. Could be wrong.
I believe.
Who knows? At this point, we find out that Harlow Doyle lives in this building with the crazy electricity.
Yes.
He washes his mouth with dish soap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. This episode is a little too much like interior to Harlow, and I'm like, wow, how is this man a functioning human being?
Exactly.
Like I cannot comprehend the fact that this man like pays rent.
Yes. Yeah, and like is legally obligated on some sort of lease or mortgage.
Right. It's absolutely crazy.
Read the interest rate? Do we know that he knows what that is?
No, and it also it gets so heightened at this point that I'm like, oh, we're in the room of consequence.
Yes, exactly. It gets so heightened. Like Harlow thinks, he sees his clock says 12, and he's like, oh, that's 4.5 hours past my bedtime. Meaning Harlow goes to bed at 7:30. Important to know. I respect that. Yeah, late nights when there are no late nights.
He wakes up from a dream and it's still 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. And he thinks it's noon.
Right, and he realizes eventually that it is light out, and that means he has slept 12 hours, and he is late.
So he's going to work. He gets on his bike because, of course, he has a bike.
Yeah,
Who is he late to?
I don't, given what has been established, I don't think he should be legally allowed to drive.
Yeah.
So him being on a bike seems good.
Fair. Yeah. Like the least amount of damage he could cause. Although he still does hit a car.
Right.
Which, it made it sound like he was on the sidewalk. I'm like, how did he hit the car while he was on the sidewalk? Maybe
Unclear.
He came off the sidewalk to make a turn. Because he was, it was like, how dare you... get hit by me while I was biking recklessly, taking a hairpin turn. Well, he's trying to accuse the man of being at fault, which, I mean, I think the whole pedestrians have the right-of-way situation.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Probably, but he seems to have done like a U-turn.
Yeah, no, it seems like Harlow was clearly in the wrong here, driving or biking recklessly, taking a hairpin turn, and then the man is complaining about leaving, like, oh gosh, I need to leave. Like, how could you, I got this meeting I need to go to. He sounds like just, normal snotty businessman, whatever. And Harlow is upset because he learned from detective school that leaving the scene of a crime is in fact a crime. And so he's not a police officer.
No.
So he citizens arrests
this
man by
handcuffs them together.
Yeah. Well, I think he handcuffs him to like a light pole or something.
Oh, really? I thought they handcuffed themselves to each other, but I could be wrong.
Well, no, because he could still then go to the meeting. I thought he handcuffed him to a bike rack.
Okay.
So then the man's obviously very upset.
Yes.
Is fumbling around in his phone. He has to call and cancel an appointment, and then
right, he can't make it to his meeting. Mm-hmm. His meeting is. He is the guy who is developing the water park.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't make it to his meeting. I feel like he mumbles something when he's in the car about about electricity, which is why I think that he is, which is why I was like, I think he lives there. I think that's the building that was having the stuff. And so then we cut to the property developers, and they're like, well, this guy's late for his meeting, and we weren't sure about this water park anyways, so we'll just sell it to this law firm.
Yep.
The law firm of Crow, Jorgen, and Beboff.
Is that really what it was called?
Yes.
That's incredible.
So, named after...
the 3-2-1 Penguins.
Yes. Yes. No, named after some of the engineers on the team, Jonathan Crow.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rob Jorgensen,
Yeah.
who is Jorgen,
Yeah.
and John Beebe, who then became John Fornoff, is John Beboff. Or it's just Beboff.
That's incredible, actually. That is hilarious.
I was listening through and I was like, Crow, Jorgen, Beboff. Oh, wow. They just did that right there, didn't they?
They really slid that one in.
We love a shout out to Odyssey's engineers.
Yeah, that's most of what this podcast is.
Yep. And then we go back to Wit's End, where Whit breaks the news to a devastated David that the water park is not happening. And then David's like, man, it makes me sick that people don't keep their promises, and that's what we go out on.
Yeah, and then he's like, I can't believe they don't do what they said they were gonna do. I can't believe who would go back on their word. And then he says, can you break a 20 for ice, or can you break a 20 for Wit?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then that's what we go out on.
And that's what we go out on, and it's wild.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
the kid doesn't learn a lesson.
No.
He's the butt of the joke.
Right. Kid is butt of joke. I'm curious to know what the experience of listening to this as a child would be. Because I don't think it's that easy to follow.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it barely skates by. I feel like it needs more of a wrap off.
Yeah.
Or more of a wrap up than just going off on a zinger.
Well, exactly. And the whole Harlow diatribe diversion feels like it just completely distracts from the point of the episode and everything.
Yeah, it's all very bizarre. It's an enjoyable listen. I just don't quite understand why it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Chris does tie it up where she kind of gives the chain reaction, spells it out, and says, that's why it's important to keep your word, because besides hurting others, we also hurt ourselves.
Fair. Maybe.
Is that why it's important to keep your word?
Because you'll hurt
Because
yourself?
you hurt yourself?
No, it's primarily, it's a certain amount of self-harm in the sense that, you're disparaging your own character, I guess.
Sure.
But not really.
Not in the way this show sets it up,
Well,
though.
and also not in a way that communicates that directly to 8 to 12-year-olds, where it's if I lie, I'm not some major world event is going to not happen because of something.
Right. It's now a water park's not being built because
because David didn't mow his lawn.
Right, because he didn't do what he set out to do. And it is it's the single vote of lies.
Exactly.
And I don't it's bizarre, and I don't like that message of it's not only important to do it because it hurts other people, it also hurts you, which I guess maybe is the kind of thing you would say to a child, or illustrates why you don't lie to a child.
Yeah.
I don't think is a good philosophy on don't lie because you're just screwing yourself over.
Yeah. I mean, it's a part of it. Yeah, you are screwing yourself over, but you're also screwing everybody else over, and dishonesty and
Right. I feel like
inauthentic communication is a lot more destructive.
Right. I feel like the Boy Who Cried Wolf illustrates better why not to lie.
Exactly.
Than this episode does by a mile.
Oh, by a long shot.
Which
this
maybe
is
not
also
fair to compare. But
yeah, but this is also, it feels like what it's pitching is, if you make a mistake, there are unintended consequences that will happen to it that are your fault.
Right. Yeah.
Which is bad.
Yeah. It's right. It's clearly primarily exists to have fun. And so I don't want to be I don't want to beat up on it too much, but and
there were funny bits in it.
Yeah, and it is funny. It's just it's a perplexing episode with a kind of bizarre concluding reason of existence.
Yeah, and I don't know. And to get to the discussion questions, as I previously mentioned. The second one says, are there any responsibilities, even small ones, in your life that you're neglecting? And it's that kind of mentality that, one, resonates with me so deeply in the sense that, like, anytime I felt like I was safe or, you know, in a stable place, I always assumed there was something else I was neglecting that is going to, the other shoe's going to drop and it's going to be my fault. Or that, like, yeah, okay, neglecting responsibilities is bad. Fine with that. But putting small responsibilities, like putting inappropriate amount of weight on small responsibilities, especially for kids, I feel like just only breeds problem behaviors where they're taking responsibility for too much or they're expecting themselves to be perfect, which neither are, you know, what we're actually trying to accomplish here.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know if that, I don't know, did that resonate with you at all? That kind of like, well, you might be looking good on the outside, but clearly you forgot something.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's, yeah, I don't know.
And maybe I'm just projecting on.
No,
it. I don't know.
no, I think that there's, yeah, I think that your experience there is valid. Like, it's just, yeah, it's.
Like,
it's the
is
weird,
David the villain?
Right.
Is that what they're pitching?
It's the weird thing that Odyssey has to do where this episode both wants to exist kind of in a vacuum, void of anything other than trying to be a funny story, but it also has to have a moral and a point it's trying to prove.
That's fair.
And I think it exists. I think it functions well as a fun story.
Does it function 93% well?
No, but I think it functions well enough as a fun story and functions poorly as an object lesson for morality.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
All right, I don't know. Anything else you need to say?
No, I feel like we've got in, you know, in proper crop summer, we're getting in and we're getting out real clean. Yeah. Hitting the showers, getting freshed up, getting ready for the next one.
Okay.
Onward and upwards is my thinking. What about you? Do you have anything?
No, I don't think I have
Anything to
anything
go
else
out
I
on?
need to say. And I don't have anything I feel like plugging right now. I don't know. How about you, Andrew? I feel like the only thing I'm really doing this summer is this podcast, and that's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I just don't have like other projects, that stuff of that sort going on.
Yeah. Take it easy on yourself.
Yeah.
Not too easy, but just a little. That's my plug.
Sure. We're plugging relaxation.
Yeah. Very big fan of relaxation. And maybe the beach.
Yeah.
Beach.
Hey, if you're close enough to a beach.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Actually, it really depends on the beach. I would not recommend many beaches.
Sure.
That being
Anyways,
said.
so that does it for this episode. And we'll be back next week to talk about episode 437A, Sunset Bowl of Water.
Now that's exciting. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wad Fam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at WadFamChalkPod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Chain Reaction was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.